Guys, I want to talk to you real quick about something that I have been thinking about today, and it's this idea of transitioning into a place of authority. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a curtain pulled down experience, a little bit of a kind of revealing behind the scenes type stuff. And when I do this sort of thing, when anybody does this sort of thing, you kind of run the risk of people being like, oh, well, he's just like me. Okay, well, I guess he isn't an authority. But that's not why, obviously that's not why I'm doing it. The reason why I'm doing it is because I need you to understand that you need to go through this same transition, this same mind as I did. And I'm still going through it, and everyone is still going through it. No matter how much of an expert or authority they are, they're still going through this transition. Here is the crux of the secret. It really comes down to the attitude and the idea of when you stop using the term I think. The term I think is a crutch that we lean on. It's a crutch that you and I lean on to avoid what we would consider being boastful or being prideful or arrogant. And so rather than saying this is what you do, we phrase it with I think this is what you should do. And that phrase I think is really an indicator of a greater mind and heart issue that you're struggling with. You see, when I start talking with a client and I say I need to know what you're really good at because I want to help tell your story, it usually goes to this place of, but it's really difficult for me to talk about myself because, I don't want to be boastful or prideful. And the phrase that I use, and you might have heard me say this, is you've got to realize that you need to be honest and not modest. Because when you're modest, you hold back your expertise. You hold back your authority for fear of something that isn't real. And the reason why we know it's not real is because when I'm here, like just think about our experience together or think about your experience with another scoper. When I start talking to you and I say, this is what you want to do if you want to maximize your software productivity. You're going to look at that and you're going to be like, okay, well, Dave knows what he's talking about. He's not going to lead me astray. He's not going to tell me something that's incorrect, so I'm going to go do it. You don't think, wow, what an arrogant jerk. He didn't start it off with, I think, or set it up with, you should try this. He started it off with, this is what you should do. But you're not thinking of me as a jerk. Right? You're hopefully not. I mean, hopefully that's not what I'm putting out. But you're thinking of me as an expert or an authority. Or you're thinking about whoever you're watching who is scoping, you're thinking about them and looking at them as some sort of an expert and authority. Why is it different for us when we start to make that switch from leaning on the crutch of I think to I know? Now, we're not going to say I know, but that's the heart and that's the mind. That's the set, right? Thanks, Ann. You're clearly not a jerk, man. See, there you go. But that illustrates the point, you guys. That illustrates the point that I'm trying to go after here. When you can make the mental transition from I think to I know, you immediately begin setting yourself up as an authority. Every time you give the precursor of I think, the second that you switch from that, everything that you say takes a completely different term, and that is when you begin stepping into a place of authority. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. There's a whole lot more to say about that, but at the very crux of it all, it's really this argument of saying, you know what? I believe that what I have to say is going to make a difference. And if somebody takes me at face value, and if somebody applies what I'm about to share, it's going to be better for them, and it's going to be better for their audience, and it's going to be better for the world.